Hi, my name is Hank Dawson, and today I want to talk about realistic 3D reflections. In 1998, something really cool happened. Paul Debevec showed the world this idea of taking a garden globe, using the reflections, and reprojecting those reflections onto 3D objects. It was amazing, and millions of 3D artists have been using this ever since. There's lots of websites where you can buy images that have what he calls light probes. And they're HDR images where there's a lot of information all the way from the brightest brights to the darkest shadows. And those can be used for reflections. This is how it works. Take an object like this, and you can see all the little highlights in there. Well, imagine if they're being reprojected onto this shiny surface. Well, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, that's great for shiny surfaces, but wait. It works for things that aren't shiny. For example, this apple. This apple here, it may not look reflective, but actually it is. Everything is reflective. The red right here is basically white light going in, and only the red light comes back out. And the yellow is the same thing, except for only the yellow comes out. So this apple is really reflective as well. Okay, imagine for a minute that this is a 3D scene. And we've got maybe a 3-light setup, and it's really standard. And that's great for a lot of situations. In fact, it works for most things. But if you want photorealistic reflections, then you need to take a whole environment and put it around that object. 3 lights won't cut it. You gotta have a very detailed environment. And if you're matching it to a photo, it'd be really nice to catch a probe, like Paul Debevec's probes, and put that around your objects. Now, one thing that I noticed about these probes is a lot of them were shot straight on, like this, like looking into the horizon. And that makes it difficult if you want to turn it around. And that's why I thought, it might be good to photograph the probe straight down instead of straight towards the horizon. 3D artists have been using this technique for years, and there's dozens of websites where you can download probes and get your own reflections, and they're just wonderful resources. I had a problem though figuring out how to take a picture of a dome, and using a sphere didn't quite work, and a lot of the HDR images were straight on of spheres. So I looked and looked and couldn't find anything, but then I came up with this idea of using a security mirror. Let me show you what I did. It's a simple variation on this great idea of using light probes, but it's a hemisphere. And so it gets that 180 degrees that I need, and the flat plane is basically something I can do in the CG program. So this dome works great. It's big and super reflective, so it gets a really nice image. And I want to show you the setup I have for how I took these pictures. So there's a Leica point-and-shoot camera on the top of the device, and then some 3/4-inch copper plumbing piping that is connected to a tripod stand that connects to the camera. And then below is the security mirror. So this all works together to make this device. So I bought the cheapest tripod I could find, and I took it apart and I mounted it on 1/2-inch copper plumbing. Had to wrap a little bit of Velcro around there to make it fit. And then I used shark bite fittings to connect it to 3/4-inch, and then a bit of electrical fitting stuff, and mounted that to the base. Here's the base, cut it out of 1/4-inch plywood and put the security mirror on top. I want to show you a series of locations and the resulting reflection map that I got with this device. This is the Bellevue City Hall, and this is what the reflection map looks like for that. Okay, so here you see the sky and the surrounding buildings, and outside of that is this gray stuff, and that's the sidewalk leading all the way up to the platform of the device. Okay, there's an old abandoned naval air station near where I live, and I took this footage there, and This is what the reflection map looked like when I shot it. So you can see the wall on the top there and the camera right about the middle, and all the lights and the ceiling, everything's there, ready for 3D rendering. We start by mapping the reflection map onto a 3D hemisphere. Here's a model of the car which we're going to put in an environment. If you zoom out, we can see the big environment that I've made. Rotate around, you can see there's the whole room, and the car can reflect that. Up in the corner there, that's me, and here we go. Let's look at it. So here you can see the model of a ball in the room, and when it's rendered, it's because it's a mirror-like surface, it's picking up all of the reflections. There's a little bit of bump, but it's mostly mirror. Here is the oil can model, and when that's rendered, that surface is a little bit more of a brushed satin type of thing, so it reflects a little more diffuse. Now, remember that apple? Well, it also reflects, and you can see here that when it's reflecting the light of this room, it really looks like it's sitting there. And so those kind of surfaces are reflective as well. And here's the car, and we can see that when it's rendered, it really reflects the room nicely. Look at that front bumper. It has all the windows and everything. And that's the final rendering. Well, that's all for now, and I hope it was helpful. If you have any ideas on how to improve this, or if you found other solutions to grab a dome image, please let me know. You can post it on my website. You can post pictures there and videos, all sorts of things. So I'd love to hear from you. Thanks a lot for watching.